Okay, so we're back into Blender again, and we've got our rigged and skinned shark. Everything is set up. We've done the animation side of things. Make sure that the mesh deforms in a way that we want it to, with the animations on it and everything else. Fantastic. So now we just want to get it out of Blender and into the Giants editor. So first of all, I'm going to come out of pose mode, back into object mode. Press A to select everything. File, export i3D, leave everything here as it is and just deselect the debugging options. You don't need those, and then we'll just export it out. We'll minimize that. I did actually export it with the textures, which I didn't need, but that's easy enough to fix. So if we just open this up in the Giants editor, I'm going to rearrange a few things. First of all, I'm going to, if it hasn't already, which it has, it's just removed that, that's fine, because I deleted the folder. So I'm actually going to put this above the mesh. It's just how I like it, don't need to do that. And then I'm going to resave it. So we're going to save that, close it down, and then we need to actually set up our animation. So we're going to go into the text editor. So we'll open up the i3D text editor, and we'll come down to the bottom here, and we have all of our different bones here. So if we look at the ones we're going to animate, which if we go back to here, we want to animate the this one, and this one. So that's 002, 001, and just spine, I think. We can potentially check that if I expand all of this out. So let's just see here. 002, 001. This is the spine one. Perhaps that got renamed. Oh. Oh, it's in here. That's why. Okay, that's fine. So we want 002, 001, and spine. Okay. So yeah, that's fine. That's why it's important to name everything, so it makes it easier to remember where everything is. Otherwise, if it's all just, you know, bone 1, bone 2, bone 3, so on, it gets a little bit more complicated, but good idea to name things anyway. So what we're going to do then, I've got an example here that I created sometime back in Maya when I had that, and this is going to be helpful. This is for exactly the same mesh, the blue shark, but all I did was created it in Maya, just testing things out to set up animations and whatever else. But in Maya, it does everything for you. You just have to create a character set and then click a few buttons, and it creates all of this coding directly in the i3D for you. Unfortunately, Blender, the i3D exporter, none of that supports the animations yet. May come in future updates, who knows. But we can use this to set everything up manually, that's fine. So I'm just going to go Control A to select everything, and then underneath our shapes, our scene here, we'll create a couple lines, and we'll paste in the animations. Oops. Would help if I actually copied them to start with, I guess. Let's go Control C to copy, and then we'll paste in here. There we go. That's better. Okay, so going back to Blender here, if we look at the timeline, I actually set up a 5-second animation. So if I actually go into here and show seconds, it's got about a 5-second animation. These, I don't know, for some reason they just don't line up the way that I think they should do. But I know that's a 5-second animation, what I set it up as. So that's what I'm going to go with. So we need to change this. This is in milliseconds. So I'm going to change this to 5,000. Like so. And we need to change all of these as well. So our node we take from here. 002 is node 9, so we want to have that match up here. That's fine. And then set up our keyframes. So if we look at our Blue Shark in the Giants editor and work out what our rotations and whatever else are. So on this one here, we do actually have some rotations. That one actually can be left at 0, so can that one. We need to change this one. Our translations are at 0, so we'll take our rotation X and apply that in here. So if I come over to here, we need to just update this. And what I want to do is, let's see what we've got. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then back to 0. So this one here, I think this one down to here can be deleted anyway. We'll try that, see how that works. So we'll overwrite these ones. Like so. And because I used the same, very much the same kind of animation in Maya when I created it for Maya, or created it in Maya, we've got our 10 degree rotation here already set up for us, so we don't need to change anything there. I just want to make sure that everything else is set correctly. So we want 0.00, 0.00, whoops, too many zeros. And then this one, 0.00. And we don't need that, that can be 00. And then this one, fine. This one, 0.00, 0.00. And change this one. Oops. So, make sure that's correct. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Hopefully that'll be all right. And then we need to take our translation, which is 0. We just need to 0 all of these out as well. I go 0.00 and then delete that. Overwrite this one. So I'll just try and quickly do these. And then just overwrite one of those. Like so. And then we're going to have, need to make it up to 5,000. So we'll do 500. And then this one will be 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, 4,500, 5,000. I might have too many there. 0, 500, 1, 200. Yeah, okay, so that one should be back to 0 though. Yeah, so that last one can go. I made a mistake there. Okay, so we can delete that one. That's fine. So we should have our animation there set up. So what I can do here is just close this out. Don't need to save that. And then we'll save that, get rid of that. We'll see what happens. So if I open this back up again, let's just see if that animation is taken. Okay, so we have got some sort of animation on here. Let me just make this so we can actually see it. There we go, that's better. Click play, and there we go. We now have our tail waggling side to side. Very simple animation, but you know, it works, so go with it kind of thing. So that's that. That's fantastic. We've got all that sorted out. So if yeah, let's save this, close that. You want to reload it? Yes, please. Okay, so now everything should be set up as it needs to be. That's fine. Hope you're out. That's fine. I think that should be okay. I don't know why it's put that on there twice, but that's okay. It should work. Still okay. We'll just double check that. Well, that'll be fine. Yeah, good. Okay, so now what we can do then is basically just duplicate this. So we want to do the next one. So spine 001, which is, what have we got here? If I put that one in as 8, so this one would be 9. So we can take our keyframes from there to there, copy, then create a couple spaces, put that into there, change this one to 9. If I go ahead and save that, that should be okay, but we might need to add in some other parts here, change some of the bits, I'm not sure. Again, when I did this in Maya, it was much easier looking at all the different parts because they didn't have any rotations on them. I don't know quite why it suddenly starts applying rotations for some reason. Yeah, see, that's all got a bit bulk now. Okay, so what we need to do then is we need to apply the correct translation and rotation for that particular node. So this one is going to be that one. So okay, so by default here we've got translate Z, we've got some stuff on there. So come into here and just overwrite all of this. Did actually put them all back to 0. I wondered if it would. So let's do that, and then rotation. We'll take our rotation from here and just change it on this one. So let's do that. Oops, too many like that. Save. Let's reload the i3D. Can we reload the i3D? I'm sure I can do that somewhere in here. Reload all textures. Reload i3D, there we go. Okay, so if I go into here now then, that should... Oh, it's going the wrong way. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. We can change that. So if we go back into here again, the minuses need to be pluses, and the pluses need to be minuses, I would take, I guess. It's pretty straightforward to fix. So let's try that. Reload, yes please. Let's see what happens now. There we go, much better. Now we've got a nice arc to our tail, which is great. Awesome, fantastic. So again, we can do the same with the other one if we wanted to here. So this would be this one. So by default, again, that's got some translation and rotation attributes on it, so we need to update that one. So what we'll do then is, if we look at that, that is actually spine. So if we come back into here and we look at spine, that is 10, which makes sense, but it's always worth double checking these things. So we'll take our keyframe, make a couple more spaces, paste that one in, change that to a 10. Then we need to just change some of these things here. So we'll take our translate Z from there, and again overwrite all of this stuff. Bit of a pain, I understand, you know, it's very time consuming. If you're creating a really complex animation, this could really boil your brain. But I just wanted to kind of show that we do have the ability now to skin meshes, if that's the right terminology to use. And it is possible to actually create the animations, even though you have to do them manually here within the i3D in a text editor. But I will take what I can get, pretty much, to make things work the way I want them to work. So let's overwrite all of this stuff. And we'll save that. Reload the i3D. And we'll see what we end up with. And there we go. Lovely jubbly. Look at that. Nice big arc on our fin. Rear tail fin, whatever you want to call that. That looks much better. Nice. I could definitely use that. I could go with that. Yeah, then we could potentially animate the jaw here. That's going to be a little bit more complicated. But I'm more than happy with what I've got there. We've got a nice animated shark. So here what I would do is I can close all of this down now and then create my textures. So in actual fact what I would do, let's restore that. So I got the texture here, and we can open this one up. What have we got? What size is that? That's okay. That's okay. So we can save this out as a DDS file. DDS, save, DXT1 with bitmap, and we'll go ahead and save. And then we can delete the PNG. We don't need that anymore. So let's put that into there. Actually, what we'll do first of all is we'll close that down, otherwise it could get upset with itself because I'm moving stuff about. So now if I open it up again, and we can go to our mesh, add our correct texture, like so. We now have our blue shark. Obviously I haven't put the normal maps on or anything like that, but that's okay. We have our blue shark, and we have our animations. Fantastic. And, you know, and I've not had to go and spend £1,000 or more on Maya to make it work. Yes, it's very time consuming. It's a bit of a ball ache, but it works. And that's really all I'm interested in now. Getting things to work, you know. So, yeah, with more time and whatever else, I could start animating the jaw, animating the other fins and whatever else. And it's just time, really. It's just, you know, working out the animations, what needs to be set up. And you could then, for something like this, I could increase that up to 10 seconds. So then that would be 10,000 milliseconds or whatever. Find a number that's going to work for you and then make your animation work around that if you can. Blender will help with that to a degree by setting up your timeline, adding your keyframes. I do this primarily so that I can make sure that the skinning process has worked correctly and that my weight painting is in the right place, so that when I deform the mesh by actually rotating the bones, I can see that it's actually working the way I want it to work, more so than actually using these keyframes to set up the animation in the i3D, because everything's flipped upside down, like I said before. Z is up here and Y is up in Giants Editor. So things get a little bit upside downy. But you know, the process is there. You can do it. That's the main thing, in my opinion. So now we've got this. We'll go ahead and save that. Let's delete the light. We don't need that. So what I want to do here, let's save. Yes. Yeah. So now what I would potentially do then is you know, create the normal maps and whatever else, or add them in if they're available, and so on and so forth. And then once I'm happy with everything and I've got everything where I want it to be, we can go File, Save As, click on our blue shark, Binary i3D, Save, Replace, and we now have all of our files. So we've got our animation file, our shapes file, and our i3D file. So now if I go back into here in Notepad++, you'll see a big difference here, and it will actually say animation is on the external anime file, or anim file, which we've just created by binarizing everything, if that's even a word. Yeah, so our external shapes file is listed here, and everything else is as it needs to be. So, you know, like I say, yes, it is a ball ache, but it works.